Hey everyone on YouTube, this is Everything Apples Pro. In this video I'm going to be comparing the new iPhone 6s components, which is the display to the iPhone 6. Over here to my left I have a iPhone 6. It is a gold iPhone 6, and then on my right I have a space gray, the space gray iPhone 6s. Now you're probably wondering, the iPhone 6s, well, it's not out yet. Well, I have a leaked component, which is the display of the new iPhone 6s, which comes out in I think 11 days, September 9th, 2015, which then Apple will unveil new iOS 9 softwares, the new iPhone 6s, the new iPhone 6s Plus, and in November they're releasing a new iPad, which is going to be, I think, 12.9 inches. So it's going to be like almost a Mac in your hands. Fun fact there. So let's go ahead and get the video started. So I'm going to be just showing, kind of comparing the two. And I want to be basically, I was going to also show the Force Touch chip, the cutout chip on the back of the display component, and basically show some numbers there and show what it's going to look like built into the iPhone 6s and what it's going to look like in the internal components. Alright, so let's go and take it out of the packaging. And here is the iPhone 6s display component. It's fully assembled. It's got the flex cables up here and everything. And I'm actually going to be comparing the camera to the front-facing camera to the camera on the iPhone 6, because the new iPhone 6s will have a selfie camera, and I think the camera might be a little bit bigger. So I'll compare those, and I guess you can decide, or the users on YouTube can decide, and leave me a comment down below if you think the camera is bigger or larger than the iPhone 6 on the 6s. So let's go ahead and see. So I'm going to grab the 6s, or the 6 here. I'm going to go ahead and put back this so we can see out of the camera hole. And then we're going to bring up the iPhone 6 and going to place it behind and try to compare it. Let's see. Okay, so there, if you can see, there is the camera behind the camera hole cut out for the iPhone 6s, for the iPhone 6. I'll try to zoom it up for the camera, zoom it in. And it looks like the camera on the iPhone 6s will be a little bit larger than the iPhone 6. Probably that's because of the selfie camera that's going to be introduced into the iPhone 6s. They're going to basically make selfies a feature on the front camera, so that's good to know. So there is the front camera on the iPhone 6 below the cutout, and then there's the 6s. So you can see it's a little bit larger because you can see through it. I'll try to zoom it in a little bit more so it's easier to see. But it looks a little larger, not very much. And then when we compare them side by side, you can probably tell it's a little bit larger on the iPhone 6s over here, the space gray, than the gold iPhone 6. And that's most likely because of the new features with the new camera coming up, which is going to be improved on the iPhone 6s rather than the iPhone 6. Now when we look at, I'm going to set that aside. Now I'll go ahead and look at the back of the display. We have the home button cut out. The back of that we have QR code, I think that is. Another QR code over here, and here's a cutout right here for some, I guess, the flex cable or the component to go into the phone when it's fully assembled. Now let's see, here's the flex cables, the two different ones. The one is horizontal and the other one's vertical. So they're not connected onto each other. One is completely different than the other. And there's the camera hole cut out for the iPhone 6s, we can see. And it looks like it's going to be larger than the iPhone 6. There's another QR code banner. And so basically we are looking at the two flex cables. One is horizontal, like I had said, and then the other one's vertical, meaning they're going to have two different uses. So one might be for camera, flash, the volume rockers, and then the other one might be for something else totally different. Instead of them being connected together on just one, now there are two separate ones. So Apple has really made it easier for the user, like I said in the last video, which I'll leave down below in the description, showing a hands-on of this new component when I first got it, and showing some first glances at it and cool things like that. And I'll leave, like I said, I'll leave that link down below in the description, basically showing things about it and the link to that video. So when we look at the back again, this is actually a cutout up here for the Force Touch chip. And what I mean by that is Force Touch is going to actually be in the iPhone 6s, and that means when a user, or when someone uses the phone and they swipe up and they press harder into the screen, basically what will happen is there's going to be different gestures. One gesture will allow the user just to click on things like they usually do, like toggles, and then one will, if you do like a hard press into the screen, it'll actually bring you into the toggles or into the menu where you want to go. So example, if you bring up the control center and tap Wi-Fi, then you can enable or disable Wi-Fi from control center. But if you bring up control center and you tap and hold on the Wi-Fi button, instead of either toggling on or off, it'll actually bring you into the settings menu of Wi-Fi. So that's kind of what the quick gestures will be with new Force Touch and the iPhone 6s. And a fun fact, there's actually some great concepts on YouTube. If anybody wants to check them out, I'll probably leave them down below in the description. Or you can definitely just search iPhone 6s Force Touch concept, and there's some great concepts if you don't understand what it does. And I'm going to set this down for a second, and I actually have a magnifying glass here. We can zoom in on some of the parts on the iPhone 6s, like the camera, and on the back the Force Touch chip cut out, and we can see some numbers and some cool things like that. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to grab the display unit, and we can have the magnifying glass, and there's actually a light on the magnifying glass, so it does help, and we can definitely see the camera and up here and everything like that. There's the flex cables, and then down below here we have the home button cut out and everything like that. And then there's the side. Now let's go look at the back of it. There's another QR code banner. You can see in the lighting. I'll try to zoom in a little more. See, and then the QR code banner, the home cutout, another QR code, and then this is where it gets interesting. So up here, this is the Force Touch chip cutout. So I'll go ahead and zoom in on that. Try to bring it up for the camera so that it can zoom in. So you can actually read those numbers for the Force Touch chip cutout. And what I mean by that is basically this is the new Force Touch chip. This is where the chip's going to go for Force Touch. So it's going to be built into the display and be in the phone through that. And that's how the chip's going to work, and that's where it's going to be basically. So I'll go ahead and zoom in on that. I'll bring it up to the camera so it's easier to see. And you can probably make out those numbers. It's very difficult to see because they're so small, but that's what that's going to look like. So the Force Touch chip is going to be made right there. It's going to be put in there when it's assembled into the phone. So it is going to be it's going to require a lot less space, and it's going to be a lot better for the user. It's going to be a lot better, so Apple didn't have to actually make it go somewhere else and actually build a bigger phone, I guess, if that makes any sense. Now when we zoom in, we keep zooming in on other things. There is the identifier, I guess, for this unit, and then we can, of course, bring this down and look at the flex cables and zoom in on that, and including the camera here, the back of the front camera. So let's go ahead and do that a second. And we're basically zooming on these components to see what it's going to look like, and there's already a few videos on the components, the display of the iPhone 6s, but there's nothing that has zoomed in already with a magnifying glass and got a better view. So normally you just see the view from here, but I'm trying to provide a better view that you can see better. For all the people watching the video, they can see it better and hopefully get more out of this video than other videos. So there's the two flex cables, one horizontal, one vertical. The front facing camera, the back of that, and everything else. And again, that is the Force Touch chip cutout. So we can zoom in once again and try to read those numbers. and then that's the identifier right here for this component. And then we can actually go up here and read, there's numbers up here on this component too, right here. So very interesting. There's a QR code there, and the Force Touch chip cutout, the flex cables up here and stuff like that, and then the front camera, the back of the front camera, the QR code down here, QR code there, and the home button cutout there. And then we flip it back over, and I'll wipe it off real quick, and we can see there's the home button cutout again, and the camera and stuff like that, and the flex cables. So this is basically showing what Force Touch is going to look like on the iPhone 6, or what the component will look like, the chip, and where the chip will go. And we're comparing the camera, the front-facing camera on the iPhone 6s to the iPhone 6. Now basically I'm not 100% sure if the camera will be larger or not on the front-facing camera, but I do know that the cutout is certainly bigger. So that leaves hope that maybe Apple will possibly make the camera bigger, and that would be good for selfie cameras, for people trying to take selfies, and the bigger camera will be better. So hope you liked the video. See you in the next one. It would help a lot return if you'd like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Peace.